Hey, what's up? I'm Andy Fogarty from the AtHomeWelder.com, and if you've been MIG welding any length of time, you recognize this madness. Crazy wasted wire. It's aggravating, it wastes money, it wastes time, and it always happens at the worst times, right? So today I'm going to give you some cool little pointers on how to change your spool out without losing the wire and having it spring and go crazy, and hopefully saving you a little bit of embarrassment so this doesn't happen in front of your friends. Okay, so before we get started, let's say the two main tips that I have for you here. And one is very important. You need a very good pair of wire snips. Very good pair. I mean, something that's not going to just crimp the wire, you know, kind of smash it a little bit at the end and cut it, but you need something that's going to cut it nice and clean without smashing the end of the wire. And the reason for that is because depending on the size wire you have, you need a size tip that's going to coincide with that size wire, meaning the hole in your tip is only as big as the wire. They don't give you hardly any leeway at all. So if you actually smash the end of your MIG wire, it actually makes it wider and you're not going to be able to get it up through that tip. The other thing is I have a very hard time being able to feel the wire with my fingers when I'm wearing gloves. So usually when I'm changing out my wire, I take my gloves off, and I'll show you why I need to be able to feel that in my fingers in just a second here. So as you can see, I've taken my wire off. It's time for me to replace my spool. And I have a bigger machine, so it looks a little bit different than some of the smaller machines, but basically you're going to have this same little shaft coming out, and you're going to have a way to lock your spool on there. So some might have a little twist lock on there. Mine has a little spring and a little clamp thing to hold it on there. But some way you're going to be able to lock your spool on there. No matter what size wire you're using, all these spools are going to look the same. They're all going to look like this. Your wire is going to be wrapped around, and it's going to be through some little holes on the side, kind of holding it in place. Now, you don't want to pop this in the beginning because this is what's keeping everything on there. As soon as you snip this, that wire is going to go crazy, and that is what we're trying to avoid. So you'll see you have two little holes. You might have 3 or 4 or a bunch, but there's going to be some holes here, small holes. And you'll also notice on your shaft that you have a nice little nipple here. This nipple is going to go in any of these holes. It doesn't matter which one. And that's going to hold the spool in place. So when you have it on here, if you don't have it in that nipple, there's a chance of it going just kind of crazy. Even if you're holding the wire, it can still pop around and go crazy on you depending on how tight this thing is rolled. Now that I know that that's locked in place, I'm good to go. Now, you want to make sure that you secure it on there, whatever your mechanism is, whether it's the twist thing or you have a mechanism like this. And you want to make sure that it's on there good. If you're using a twist, you don't want to twist it too tight because that's going to put too much force against the machine and it's going to cause too much friction when the wire is trying to be pulled off and it's feeding through your gun. The next step is you also want to get rid of the wire that's already in your gun. And to do this, we're just going to pop this, and again, your mechanism might look a little bit different. These are our rollers, our drive motor here. And basically what this does is just puts enough tension down to be able to pull the wire through. So we're going to loosen that however it is on your machine. And once that's loose, that's fine. You can just take your snips or some needle nose pliers or whatever and just pull the line out either from this way or actually from the end of the gun. I hate that this is wasted wire, but it's just one of those things you got to deal with. You can see how the wire, they actually have it running up here and it's crimped over. Now before we pop this, we need to make sure that we are holding on to this wire at all costs. Now this is why I don't wear gloves, is so I can feel what's going on. So I take my finger and I just kind of push down on the wire, sandwich it wherever it is. Then, now that you're sure and you press down real good, make sure you have a great hold on it. You can either pop it, just take your snips, bring it out just a little bit. Just going to make sure that you're holding it and snip it in the middle here. Or you can snip it on the outside, it doesn't matter because you're going to need to snip this again in just a second. So now that we snipped it, so now that it's free and we've got a good hold of it, we need to get this little crimp out before we feed it through our drive motor. So So we're just going to take this, snip it off. You see I've got a nice clean snip here. You want to make sure this isn't flattened too much. I mean, you're going to flatten it a little bit, but you know, you want it nice and clean. And you're just going to roll this back, not letting go, and feed it through our drive motor rollers here. Got it through just enough so I can lock that, not going anywhere. Now you can flip your machine on and pull the trigger and run the wire through. Alright, so that's it for today's quick tip. I hope you learned some great little tips on how to save yourself some time and money, and definitely some embarrassment of having your wire go crazy. Now, if you have any other questions about anything, come on over to theathomewelder.com and feel free to ask your questions in any of the comment sections of any of the posts. We read every single question and comment that comes in, and we do our best to answer all of them. Or you can just hit us up on the contact form. That's a great way to get in touch with us as well. Also, if you're active on social media and you dug this video, please do us a favor and share this on your sites, from Facebook, Twitter, Gentleman, Google+, whatever. We don't care. It's the greatest compliment you can give us. And if you want more great information like this for free, come on over to athomewelder.com, sign up to be part of our community. We're going to send you the free 5 cornerstones of basic MIG welding in a free course that we call MIG Welding 101. But more importantly, it's going to put you in our community, and we're going to send you free tips and tricks every single week for cool project ideas, cool ways to save money, save time, and just get better at your craft. So I'm Andy Fogarty for theathomewelder.com, and it's been my pleasure, and I will see you again next time.